Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are San Diego.
The Padres have arrived in Mile High Denver for 3 against the Rockies here at Coors Field, celebrating its 20th baseball anniversary. Will Middlebrooks, a pair of 2-run homers to lead the Padres to a series win in Chicago, takes aim at Coors tonight. 24-year-old Nolan Arenado, Gold Glove third baseman, a great start at the plate, but just in, Arenado has been scratched from the starting lineup. It's the first of a 3-game series, the 8-5 Padres against the Colorado Rockies. They have started 7-5. And good evening, everyone, with Mark Grant, Dick Kenberg. Pleased that you've joined us here in the Mile High City. The Padres have not fared well through the years. Last year, they managed only 2 wins and 9 tries here in Denver, but this is a different team.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. A lot of offense we saw in Chicago, great balance on this team, and hopefully some wiggle room for Odrisamer Despaigne, who's toeing the slab for the first time ever here at Coors Field.
And what a disparity. OD, oddly different when he's on the road than at home.
The splits are just mind-boggling. When you look at his career, the career ERA of 1.64 and 5.31, well, home is where the heart is. He loves pitching at Petco Park. He's going to have to make some kind of an adjustment here on the road. He's one of those pitchers that go out there and just have some fun and make some good pitches. I'll tell you what, Dick, in relief, he did well when Kenny got hurt in his last start. If he carries that over, he should be fine tonight at Coors.
And Jorge De La Rosa, his record here at Coors Field, ridiculous. Last 2 years, he's 20-3.
It is really ridiculous. An ERA just under 3 at 2.92. Why? He's got the cut fastball, he's got the slider, and the split finger. De La Rosa even said it breaks less at home. On the road, it breaks too much. He can be aggressive around the plate. That's why you see the breaking ball, and I think that's why you see the numbers. He's got a good mindset here at Coors Field. He loves to pitch at home.
And Matt Kemp for the Padres, he thoroughly enjoys playing here in the Mile High City. His lifetime average well over 300. He's hit 14 homers here.
Players, hitters love to come to Coors Field. They salivate, and Matt Kemp is one of those players. And like we just said, Dick, the lineup has just changed over this year for the San Diego Padres. The one thing I think Matt Kemp does so well when he comes here, he doesn't go out of his routine as far as what type of player he knows he is. He's big, he's strong. If he squares it up, it's going to go. He doesn't try to do too much. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see so many good numbers from Matt Kemp.
Well, Bud Black has that bullseye, and the target he's trying to hit is to have a winning record or at least 500 record on the road. The Padres had the best record in NL West at home. They've got to improve on the road. This is a good time to start.
Absolutely. They got Despaigne, who can trick the opposition. They've got a good mood in that clubhouse after the series in Colorado or Chicago. Hopefully it carries over the 4-game set here in Colorado.
Well, speaking of that mood, that's where we are going to go next with Chris Button coming up. San Diego, a team that doesn't give up ABs, and they have comebacks in a common form. They expect to come from behind, as they did yesterday in Chicago, down early 2-0. Chris Button with the story when we return. Baseball, brought to you by Petco. What we feed them matters.
The comeback kids have made their way to Coors Field. Welcome back here in Denver, Colorado. The Padres have 5 come-from-behind wins so far this season. That is tied for second best in Major League Baseball. So I caught up with Yonder Orlando, wondering what he attributes that to.
Never giving up attitude. Always knowing that you got to earn them. You got to earn all the 27 outs that we give you. So just knowing out there that no game is done until it's done, and making sure that we're giving consistent at bats, making sure that we're competing to the best of our abilities, and going out there and enjoying the game.
Well, it is launch time here in Denver. 12 home runs for the Padres already this season. And you just know there's going to be a lot more who in Coors Field. We have first pitch coming up between the Padres and the Rockies when we return on Fox Sports San Diego.
Taste of the action from Wrigley Field, Chicago in the weekend series, as the Padres now have captured 3 consecutive series and now move to Denver, where the weather will be cooler as the night wears on. 54 degrees currently, expected to drop down into the 30s before games end tonight. Bud Black has set his starting lineup. It's brought to you by Toyota, and this is how they'll be hitting tonight. Will Myers, followed by Derek Norris in the number 2 slot. Matt Kemp, Justin Upton back in the lineup and hitting cleanup. Will Middlebrooks in the 5th hole, then Jed Jerko. Yonder Alonso, the Padres' leading hitter with a .350 average, bats 7th. Then former Rocky Clint Barmas at shortstop, and Odrisamer Despagne looking for his first ever Major League hit. Keys to the game are brought to you by the Honda dealers of San Diego County.
Well, for the San Diego Padres, the keys in the first game of the series, silver bullets off of De La Rosa. Get it? Silver bullets, Coors Field. Hopefully there's some off the bats as they swung the bats well in Chicago. No mile-high flubs. Tighten up the defense. Don't throw the ball around. No extra outs for this Colorado Rocky team that's hitting .271. And believe it or not, the Padres also hitting .271 as a club. And with the left-hander Jorge De La Rosa on the mound, the scouting report looks something like this. Two-seam fastball. He'll throw a cutter, a slider, and a split. And he loves pitching here at Coors Field. We documented the ERA. We talked about the win-loss record for the veteran left-hander. He feels very comfortable here at home, especially throwing that slider down and in to right-handed hitters.
And the Rockies defense brought to you by Renovation Realty. And here's how they align here in the broad expanses of Coors Field. Dickerson in left, Blackman in center, and Gold Glove Carlos Gonzalez in right field. Inoa, the late replacement for Arenado at third base. Tulowitzki and LeMahieu in the middle of the diamond, and the National League batting champion last season with a .319 average, Justin Morneau at first. Nick Hundley, former Padre, behind the plate for De La Rosa. Word on Arenado is sore left wrist day to day. And Troy Tulowitzki back in full health, and when he is, he's one of the elite players in all of baseball.
Not only with his glove, he still has decent range. He's got that good arm still, and we know what he can do with the bat, both on the road and here in Colorado.
Will Myers, not your prototypical leadoff hitter. In fact, in 55 at-bats or plate appearances, he has only one walk. But Padres are not going to shackle his aggressiveness. They want him to come up there and be a free swinging leadoff man, and he's been all of that, hitting .278, a home run. He's got 5 doubles. That's seventh, tied for 7th in the National League. So it'll be Myers, Kemp, following Derek Norris. Myers, Norris, Kemp here in the first inning. Padres trying to improve on their record against De La Rosa, who is 8-3 against them, and their record here in Denver. Set to go on a calm night, hardly a breeze at the moment. De La Rosa, that hesitation kick, and he serves the first pitch up high, ball 1.
Got to stay back on this guy. He'll try to bury that fastball inside. See if these Padre hitters can stay inside the baseball. Use the big part of the field here at Coors.
The line drive up the middle, base hit. That's a good way to get started. Had a funny sound, might have cracked the bat, but it serves well as he is on first base with a base knock, and that'll bring up Derek Norris.
You might see these Padre hitters swinging early as well to avoid the split, to avoid the slider. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. He tries to bury it inside, but Will Myers decides, you know what? I'm going to beat him there. I'm going to get those hands through quickly. Pulls it to the left side of second base for a big league knock.
Seems to always have a perpetual smile, Will Myers. Derek Norris, against left-handed pitching, he starts salivating. He's 6 for 9 against southpaws. Padres have hit well against lefties. In fact, as a team, they're batting .330 against left-handers, and that includes some good ones. Clayton Kershaw and Madison Bumgarner. And John Lester yesterday in Chicago. As a contrast, .330 this year against lefties. Last year, .220. Anemic by comparison.
I think by having this lineup, Dick, this year for the Padres, everybody's just moved up a notch, right?
Yeah, the 2 men in the middle, Kemp and Upton, make everyone better. The potential, the power potential in the middle of the lineup. There's a little looper into right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Myers running all the way. Over in the corner goes Gonzalez. Myers takes his turn and will hold on a bloop double. Derek Norris. So the first 2 men aboard for the Padres.
Well, be ready to strap it in here. Coors Field. He gets jammed. He goes the other way. And with the outfielders playing deep, with the real estate out there, it just makes it greater for a hitter to dump it out there down the lines and in the gaps. Padres got something going here.
Matt Kemp steps up. As we told you earlier, here at Coors Field, a lifetime .322 average. They're his marks on the season, 340 with a home run. His first came in Chicago this weekend. He and Middlebrooks tied for the club lead with 9 runs batted in. And a drive to right center field, hit well in the gap. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Scoring 2 runs easily. Myers and Norris can jog home on a 2-run double by Matt Kemp. 2-0 Padres. The first 3 hitters in the lineup jumping all over Jorge De La Rosa, making his debut appearance this year.
Coming off the DL with the groin strain, and Matt Kemp. That is the Matt Kemp that we saw all those years in a Dodger uniform, wearing out right center field. Didn't matter if it's Coors Field, Dodger Stadium. Oh, and that sound. Talk about staying inside the baseball. Matt Kemp does it well. So far, it's a track meet out on the bases for San Diego.
Brings up the cleanup man. Justin Upton leads the club in home runs, or is tied with Middlebrooks, who will follow with 3 homers. And thus far, the Padres not wasting any time going after De La Rosa, not allowing him to get ahead in the count, although he has a first strike pitch here.
Avoid those put away, if you want to call it that, wipeout pitches that he has, the slider and the split.
Ground ball through the left side. Kemp had to hold, so he'll just move up 90 feet as the Padres 4 consecutive hits. A great start, first and third with no one out. Well, there are 2 things that you know you're going to hear when you come to Coors Field. The lyrics to our national anthem, and you never get enough runs.
That's absolutely right. That's why you have to pile on early. And Dick, to just elaborate what you said, no lead is safe. You're absolutely right.
I guess that's another lyric you hear. Put some music to that one, too. Middlebrooks hitting 240, 3 homers, 2 2-run shots in Chicago. And he goes after the first pitch. Yesterday, after the Padres had given up 2 unearned runs in the first inning, in the second, Middlebrooks tied it up with a blast of about 418 to left field. First and third, infield back. They'll try to turn 2. Good cut. Myers started things with a single to center. Norris with a bloop double down the right field line. Kemp with a line drive double to score 2 to right center. And now Upton a ground single through the left side. As the Padres have scored 2, have runners at the corners, and no one out yet in the first inning. Struck him out. First out of the inning. That'll bring up Jed Jerko. Jerko, his bat seemed to awaken in Chicago. He hit the ball hard for outs, had a couple of hits yesterday, just missed a couple of home runs, and he has an amazing record against De La Rosa. De La Rosa has been troublesome for most of the Padre lineup, but not Jerko. 10 for 15 against this Colorado lefty. Swing and a miss.
Oh, looked like he pulled the string right there with the runner in scoring position, down and away. And there's the numbers you're talking about, Dick. That's 67. Looking sweet.
3 of those 10 hits doubles. Infield squeezed in the middle towards second, looking for a double play chance. Line to right field, into the right field corner. Gonzalez can't get that one. It rattles against the board. In comes Kemp to make it 3-0, and holding at third is Upton, as the Padres rampage against De La Rosa continues here in the first inning. Jerko, yes sir, he knows how to hit against De La Rosa.
Well, look at you, Nostradamus.
Yeah.
During Pick the Stick, you said that Jerko swinging the bat well in Chicago, made some hard outs. You're absolutely right there. You brought up the numbers against De La Rosa, and Jed Jerko has not skipped a beat. Good for Jed. He needs that.
And especially going the opposite field.
He hit it where it was pitched. No doubt about that.
So second and third, 1 out, and Yonder Alonso has a chance to add to the 3-0 lead. He's the Padres' top hitters thus far at .350. And his on-base percentage 6th best in the National League. Now the infield comes in, and that one loops foul. He has the 6th best on base percentage in the National League, the 3rd best batting average at night, hitting .476, and the 4th best road batting average, .429. You think Yonder Alonso isn't off to a good start, enjoying hitting in this lineup packed with right-handed power? Despaigne has to like what he's been seeing. Line to left field. That's slicing. Foul. Just foul. Almost another 2-run double.
That was close.
Alonso returns to home plate. He missed by about 2 feet of making a 5-0 game.
Oh, yeah. From our vantage point, we're offset a little bit. Straight on, you can see. Yeah, buddy, no, not worthy challenge.
Forget about it, he says. 2nd and 3rd. Upton at 3rd. Jerko at 2nd. And now the 2-strike count on Yonder Alonso. Time called. Alonso backs out.
6:52 mountain time. Time was called. He wanted time, right? I just gave it to him.
I have to send that down. Up and in. 95 on the fastball.
He can get it up there now, but it's about locating it. That pitch right there. Alonso's been peppering some foul balls away. That one may be for show. The up and in one. Let's see if he could counters with down and away here.
2 singles, 3 doubles. 5 hits and 3 runs so far. Up the middle and by the diver, Mayhew, and here comes another run and yet another as Jerko follows Upton, and it's 5-0. 2-run single for Alonso. He continues his fine hitting with the infield drawn in. Hitter's delight, and he was able to squeeze that one by LeMahieu.
After going up and in, De La Rosa tries to go down and away, and with the infield drawn in a little bit, LeMahieu can't get to that one. Glenn Hoffman waving him home. Hey, somebody get an ice bag ready for Glenn Hoffman at 3rd base. In between innings, he's going to have to ice that shoulder. Waving him around.
Talk about the difference between this lineup and a year ago. Goodness. They averaged, the Padres, last year, less than 3 runs per game, and they've scored 5 here in the 1st inning tonight. Infield moves back now, and here's the 8th man to hit, Clint Barmas.
You know, one of my keys to the game was going to be getting to the bullpen early. You could probably say that for every game, but my goodness, does that come into play here? A lot of pitches, a lot of runs, a lot of damage to De La Rosa.
Well, you wonder just how sharp he is, having sat out the first couple of weeks, a groin injury in spring training, and this is his first start of the season. Good move to first. Got to be careful there.
You know, and with those keys, I want to thank my good friends, the advanced scouting department of Nick Ennis and Ben Sustanovich, helping me out with the keys. Working hard down there.
5 runs and 6 hits. That's a key. Barmas pulls one left field, but it's hooking, and that'll go foul. Clint 5 for 18 so far, 278. A crooked number indeed to greet De La Rosa and the Rockies in this first game of the series.
Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling when it's the first inning, you're on the road and you're hitting and the pitcher's on deck.
But the Rockies, they'll get their chance too. 1-2 to Barmas. And it is so true. The runs, you know, this is the hitter's paradise. Yeah. It's no wonder that the Rockies last year, even though they had a terrible record, led the National League in batting average and runs scored and home runs. Swing and a miss, and Barmas is down. So a couple of strikeouts, Middlebrooks and Barmas for De La Rosa. And the Padres hitting around, and here's the ever dangerous Odrisamer Despaigne. 0 for 29
He's
as
due.
a big leaguer.
He's due.
Watched him in batting practice, and Bud Black was throwing BP. And he hit it just about like that. Like he used the New York Times Sunday newspaper to hit that one to second. But the good news, the Padres in the opening frame score 5 times on 6 runs. Matt Kemp's 2-run double key. And how about Jerko going the opposite way to knock in 1? And Alonso singles in 2 more. 5-0. Inning as Matt Kemp, as the Padres start Odrisamer Despaigne with a 5-run cushion. But look at this lineup, and a lot of 300 batters in there. Blackman, Dickerson, Tulowitzki, then Gonzalez, Morneau, LeMay. Show you how good this lineup is. LeMahieu has the second best batting average in all the National League. He hit 6th. Then Nick Hundley, Rafael Ynoa replacing Nolan Arenado, and De La Rosa the pitcher.
And the scouting report for the Cuban-born right-hander, Odrisamer Despaigne. He throws everything. He's got to live on the edge, stay out of the heart of the plate to be successful. Let's see if he's got his repertoire working tonight.
Really would be important for him to get out of the first inning without a run scoring. Not easy against this Rocky lineup. Charlie Blackmon hitting .289. Remember last year, the first half of the season, he was right at the top of the National League batting list. Faded a bit in the second half, made the All-Star team. 1-1. Wind picking up a bit, blowing out toward right field. There is a forecast of a possible shower, but that's par for the course here in Denver. Light sprinkle at the moment. Fouled out of play. Temperature is supposed to warm each day of the 4 days we're going to be here. 60 degrees, 35 low tomorrow, and then 66 degrees Wednesday and a 39 low, and Thursday 68 degrees and the nighttime temperature 40. 1-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3, and Blackmon goes down.
Boy, a big out for Odrisamer Despaigne as from the side. Charlie Blackmon, if he hits it, it's into that rock pile.
That was an easy call for third base umpire Greg Gibson. Padres defense has Upton, Myers, and Kemp in the outfield. Brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. The San Diego defense. Middlebrooks and Barmes on the left side. Jerko and Alonso at second and first, with Norris behind the plate for Despaigne. Here's Corey Dickerson. Out of play. Dickerson has the 9th best batting average in the National League at home, hitting .417 at home. So he's had trouble on the road to average out at .298. 10 last year. Hit .360. Another foul off to the left.
Yeah, he made quite an impression last year. So the word gets out. It's going to be interesting to see how the scouting reports end up and how they pitch to this kid. You got to realize, going into this year, Corey Dickerson only had 630 at-bats at the big league level. And it's really not a lot of at-bats. So he's still learning.
And he's, this time we've seen him, a couple, 3 years, really picked up his power potential.
Yeah.
Kind of a slap hitter when we first saw him come up from the minor leagues, but he's got home run power now.
Outfield playing him to go the other way. Infield playing to pull.
Strike three. That looked like a changeup that hit the outside corner, and a couple of strikeouts to open the first inning for Despagne.
Well, like you said, Dick, a quick inning here would be key.
A fastball, wasn't it?
Caught him off guard, didn't it? But judging by that stance right there, it looks like, and his approach, looked like he had something off speed in the back of his mind. He just let that go by.
Here's the all-star Troy Tulowitzki hitting a solid .326 here the first couple of weeks, and he takes a strike. 93 on the fastball. Against the Padres last year, and of course he was injured the second half of the season. He still hit 4 home runs. Was 13 for 36. He's hit 17 homers in his career against San Diego pitching, 1-1. Yeah, the Rockies last year actually had pretty good April and May. They had a winning record, and then Carlos Gonzalez was hurt, Tulowitzki hurt, and they just tumbled the second half of the season. Ground ball sharply at Barmes, gloves it nicely and throws across for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for Odrisamer Despagne. It's 5-0 Padres.
Felt like I hit the ball pretty well. Obviously, it was hard enough to find a certain spot in his glove, but yeah, I as soon as I saw it go in his glove, I put my head down and just started running to first. I didn't really notice anything different until out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a glove fly by me. So I just kind of happened to kind of look down, and yeah, it was very unexpected.
That's the unusual play yesterday. In case you missed it, John Lester, the comebacker, wedged into the webbing of Lester's glove, couldn't get it out, so he threw the glove to first base to make the 1-3 put out.
I remember the first time I saw that, Terry Mulholland at Shea Stadium against the Mets threw it over to Bob Brenly playing first base for the out. Seen it a few times.
Here's Myers leading off the second inning as he did the first. Ground ball right at Tulowitzki. Whoa! Under the legs of Tulowitzki into left field. You don't see many of those. Here to the All-Star shortstop. Well, light rain falling, and the Padres with a heavy rain of base hits in the first inning to score 5 times on 6 hits. That just stayed down, and Tulowitzki came up.
Yeah, big old-fashioned boot right there. Career .986, career fielding percentage for Troy Tulowitzki. Well, last year, you know, sure he was hurt a little bit, but only 4 errors for the All-Star shortstop.
Derek Norris ballooned a little fly ball down the right field line. It fell for a double, part of the 6 hits and 5 runs in the first inning. Don't you think the infield with the rain a little wetter, and now that ball doesn't quite come up?
Yeah.
Tulowitzki figuring he's going to get a little higher bounce.
Absolutely. In fact, I think infielders like a little bit of a damper infield because just because of that, Dick. That's why a lot of
gets away from the catcher Nick Hundley, the former Padre, and advancing to second on the wild pitch is Myers. So the Padres have a chance to add to the 5-0 lead.
You'll have infielders talk to the ground crew and say, hey, before the game, can you douse my area where I'm playing a little bit more than usual because it'll moisten the ground and the ball will stay down. And Nick Hundley tries to get this one, skipping off the dirt.
So 2-0 to Derek Norris with Matt Kemp on deck.
Good secondary lead right there by Will Myers.
That one goes into the first row behind the Padre dugout. Again, we mentioned Norris with his success against lefty pitching. As you look at Kemp on deck, with his double in the first inning, he's 7 for 10, hitting a robust 700 against southpaw serves. Sky is getting lighter off to the west. Inside, 3-1.
Yeah, there's just a little cell coming through. Should be clear in about 25 minutes.
Mr. Meteorology, huh?
They've got a happy birthday out there somewhere.
Line for a base hit. Myers had to hold, so advances only to third on a bullet single to left off the bat of Norris. Bring him some more of that left-handed meat.
That was a silver bullet, wasn't it? Remember one of the keys to the game?
Right.
That was a silver bullet off the bat of Derek Norris. Listen to this.
It's just like opening a can of that silver bullet, right?
Nicely done, Professor.
I'm just trying to stay with you to make these comments. You stay up all night. We've got to make them meaningful. You're working hard on those. So first and third, no one out for Matt Kemp. Infield will play back, look for 2, give up a run for a double play. Kemp screaming double to right center his first time, takes a strike. 94 on the fastball. Kemp has hit successfully against De La Rosa head-to-head, 385, 3 home runs. One and one.
Dick, one big difference this year for the Padres lineup. The outfielders for the Colorado Rockies, with the lack of power last year, guess what? Where did they play a little bit more? In, right?
You're right.
Now with the power this year, they got to play a little bit deeper. And what is it, right? So that means that there's going to be more dunkers, maybe, if they get jammed. And you could take the extra base on a single to the outfield.
Through the left side, another run scores as Kemp delivers. It's 6-0. Norris stops at second. 3 RBIs for Kemp already and 12 on the season. That puts him right up with the league leaders. Myers checks in for the second time. 2 runs scored by the leadoff man. And here's Justin Upton. He singled his first at bat.
I love a messy scorecard for the Padres, especially in the top of the second inning. Matt Kemp using the whole field, which is Coors Field. Right center field extra bases, driving in a run. And the Padres have a snowman in the hit column.
Do you see Derek Norris look over at Matt Kemp and applaud him and say, I mean, that's the kind of spirit and spunk that.
You know, this team believes. I saw this team get off the bus last night, get to the hotel, hanging out there was about 12, 15 of them hanging out together, all together in the restaurant.
They have fun together. They ride each other
in
a playful way. And they're just, Norris made it to second. He didn't have to do any more than that, but take his lead. But he looks over to Kemp and gives him an applause to say, hey, that's what we're all about. Upton takes a floater outside. 2-0. Rocky start for Jorge De La Rosa, and this is so out of character for him. Again, his home record the last 2 years. The left-hander from Monterrey, Mexico, is 20-3. Incredible. Run home here in the second. Ooh. Change up, and Upton is trying to make it a 9-0 score. How about this? Runners in scoring position. The Padres 6 for 7 so far. Light rain continues to fall, but you can see the fans are looking into some fading sunlight as well. 3-1. Will Middlebrooks next.
Got to play this game with the same intensity. Second inning, up 6-0, as if it's 0-0, or even trailing 6-0. Got to go at it like it's your last at bat. No giving up, no letting up.
Norris at second, Kemp at first. A run home, no one out. Unearned run. Myers safe on the Tulowitzki error to start the frame. Three balls, 2 strikes. Upton pursing his lips there. He thought he should have done more with that delivery right down at his knees.
Going with the old school. Hey, bring back the brown. I love the Tony Gwynn jersey.
36 pitches now for De La Rosa, and he has only 3 outs. Struck him out. So 4 outs for De La Rosa, 3 of them on strikeouts. Time now for the T-Mobile Game Changer. And a look at Major League leaders' most extra base hits by a third baseman this year. Arenado, a late scratch from the lineup because of a wrist injury. And Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals leading the way with 9. And Will Middlebrooks with 6.
And hopefully he can move up the chart on that today.
Struck out the first time. And on the hands, 0-1. Oh, Middlebrooks had just 3 hits. Just 3 hits in Chicago. One was an RBI double. Another was a 2-run homer. And the other one was a 2-run homer. That's making 3 hits really count.
And a big smile to Mark Kotsay, the hitting coach for the Padres, working diligently with these guys.
5 RBIs on those 3 swings from Middlebrooks, and he showed power to right field on 1 home run and deep power to left field. And just to further caress a point, last year with Boston, 215 at bats, he hit 2 home runs. He has 3 so far this year. And that ball ripped to center field. Back goes Blackmon, and he can't get there. That ball just like a tee shot. Here comes 2 runners coming around Norris, and right behind him is Matt Kemp, and into third with a triple and 2 more runs as Will Middlebrooks. It's an 8-0 lead. Oh my. Yeah, it was almost as if they put that ball on a tee, and Middlebrooks said, let's see if I can just hit it down the middle of the fairway. Totally misjudged by Blackmon.
Absolutely. That ball just kept taking off and taking off. It looked like Blackmon was a little bit on the shallow side there. And Will Middlebrooks can cruise into third base. Oh, he slides just to get that uniform dirty. Put Spencer Dolan and Brian Perlman to work after the game.
So Blackmon fooled by the power. Middlebrooks driving that line shot over his head. And that'll bring up Jed Jerko. With the Padres adding 3 more and leading now 8-0.
Steve Foster, the pitching coach for the Rockies, out to have a little chat.
Love his music.
Steve Foster?
Yeah. Is he from Kentucky?
I think he is. We can check that.
Jerko with the infield in. Takes ball 1. Jed sharply drove a ball down the right field corner for a couple of runs, drove in 2 and scored himself in the first inning. A chance to pick up Middlebrooks with 1 out here in the second.
And Christian Friedrich is warming up quickly in the Rockies bullpen.
2-0.
42 pitches total. 27 strikes, 15 balls, a heavy workload for Jorge De La Rosa.
Rain is all but stopped now, and the sun trying to splash the fans down the right field corner. Broken bat, and that'll hook foul first row. Hates to throw that bat away. Had a couple of hits yesterday and a big double here today with it.
See what happens when you bring your glove to the ball yard? Going home with a souvenir. She said, I had to battle the lights, but, you know, I used my glove and I made the catch.
And why didn't you bring your glove? Yeah. So 2-1 to Jerko with the new stick. Infield tight. Ooh, big swing. 2-2. Fastball through that swing at 94.
Yeah, that's changing the eye level right there. The broken bat, breaking ball in and going up the ladder for fastball.
Middlebrooks at third with a 2-run triple. And 2-2 to Jerko. Alonso will be next. In the dirt, good block by Hundley. Good to see Nick back in the NL West.
Yeah, quite an opportunity for Nick, being quite the influence also for this pitching staff. Reading up on Nick, being a Colorado Rocky, and what he has meant to some of the younger pitchers on this ball club.
He's a Colorado native, is he not? Coming over from Baltimore. 3-2. And a good swing to spoil that one from Jerko. And the pitch count goes to 46 for De La Rosa. Rough outing. I can't imagine he's had anything like this starting a game at Coors Field.
Oh, I know. Three ball counts this inning for De La Rosa.
And ball 4. So first and third with 1 out for Alonso.
Hey, tonight Fox Sports Live will get you caught on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, and tonight's MLB games, plus all the latest rumors out of New York on the eve of the NFL draft. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 10 on Fox Sports 1, or see it simulcast right here, Fox Sports San Diego.
Mark Grant just double checking on Nick Hundley. I was thinking Chase Headley was from the Denver area, grew up, but he's a Washingtonian. He was born in Corvallis, Hundley, but went to high school in Lake Washington, Washington. Alonso. He singled in 2 runs with the infield drawn in the first time. This time a slight shift with Tulowitzki swung over about 10 feet from the bag at second.
Big hole right there.
1 out, first and third. Clipped foul. 5 runs on 6 hits in the first inning. This inning kicked off with the air by Tulowitzki. Then Norris a single, RBI single Kemp. After Upton struck out, a 2-run triple from Middlebrooks. And Jerko works the first walk off De La Rosa. He's at first base. Way outside. And De La Rosa not sharp at all.
Yeah. Way off.
How long can they keep him out there?
Way off.
And that just may be the fact that he's tried to jump from spring training and just, you can do all the pitching and bullpen and rehabs and all of that you want, but this is so much different. And he misses again. 3-1 to Alonso.
That was the 30th pitch of the inning for the left-hander De La Rosa.
Not only is this a positive for the Padres getting an 8-0 lead in the second inning, the other positive is it's a 4-game series and the Rockies are going to have to go into that bullpen early. Fly ball to left field, slicing toward the line. Dickerson goes there in fair territory. Middlebrooks tags comes in, and the Padres have another. It's 9-0. And Alonso with a 3 RBI night. Here's Clint Barmes. Padres hit around in the first, and this is the 8th man to bat in the second. Barmes struck out swinging his first at bat. Fly ball right field. Long run, angling out is LeMahieu, and makes the catch in fair territory. Another big inning. 4 tallies for the Padres. 2 of them come home on this line drive to center field over the head of Blackmon for a 2-run triple. 8-0 for the Padres. 9-0 it is.
Odrisamer Despaigne making his first start here at Coors Field, and I asked Bud Black what advice he gave him before the game. He said, this is a guy I don't worry about. He's pitched in Holland, in France, in Spain, in Mexico, Canada. This is a guy that doesn't scare off. He said the one piece of advice he'd give him, that he'd give to every pitcher, is you got to throw strikes here. Walks will really hurt you here. Also, guys, just a little side note, this is the most work my umbrella's gotten in the last 2 days than my entire year in San Diego last year. It's finally starting to dry out a little bit, though.
Well, the same is true of the base traffic by the Padres. 9 runs in 2 innings. There were weeks that the Padres didn't score 9 runs last year. And that weather cell has moved off. The temperature steadying at around 50 degrees. Carlos Gonzalez hitting .222 at the start. Ooh, just missed that one.
Well, early on, Despaigne has shown that he is hitting his spots with his fastball, putting the Rockies hitters on the defensive. And like Bud Black said, throw strikes, especially strike one.
That's such a good point here. You cannot offer too many walks. I mean, you're going to walk some, but you can get hurt in a big hurry when you walk people. Ooh, right off the leg of Despaigne, picks it up and throws him out. Now is he okay? Boy, a leg save and a beauty by Despaigne. He takes a base hit away from Gonzalez, but at what price? Todd Hutchison out to check on the Cuban right-hander. Looks like he caught him in the left calf.
Yep. Now, whether it got a little bit of the shin or mostly meat behind the shin, I'll tell you what.
OD says.
Did you see his reaction? This kid's got ice running through his veins. He didn't have any reaction after he was struck by that one hopper.
The only reaction was to get the ball and throw at Gonzalez. Test that leg. It's his plant leg.
He's saying, after all the stuff that I've been through in my life, you think I'm going to let that little thing take me out of a game?
Especially when I'm leading 9-0.
That's good to see him smile. Yonder kind of, I'm sure, yucking it up with. By the way, if you're keeping score, the 4 runs scored by the Padres here in the second inning, 2 were earned, 2 unearned. Total bien, he says. Hitter is Justin Morneau, .319 last year to lead the National League, and he just wore out Padre pitching, hitting .397. Off speed breaking ball. So Morneau 1-1. Off to a slow start this year. We saw him last year. It just looked like he was going to get a hit every time up, and almost did. Out of play. Going to have to keep an eye on the velocity of the fastball as well. That one at 90. Highest career average against the Padres. Morneau is at the top of the list. Hayward, Crawford, Gonzalez, LeMahieu also. 4-5. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 4-5 within the division with the Padres, right? The only one was Jason Hayward, now with the Redbirds. Deal with the Braves all those years. Morneau spent his first 10+ years with the Twins and was the American League MVP. Chops that one to short. Charged by Barmes and throws wide, but the tag by Alonso. Barmes threw one just like that yesterday in Chicago and pulled then Solarte playing first off the bag, and it was a critical error that led to 2 runs in the first inning in Chicago. This is a perfect example of Odrisamer Despaigne taking the sting out of the bats, and also a nice display of coming off the bag, going to the baseball. There's no way he can catch that ball by staying on the bag. Barmes gets under a little bit, rushes it, get off the bag, make the tag. Nicely done. Now here's the taking the sting. Breaking ball. Look at the swing from Morneau. It's all upper body. And it's on the outer half of the plate. Good location. Nice pitch. Fastball for a strike to DJ LeMahieu. Off to a sensational start. Only Adrian Gonzalez has a better batting average through the first couple of weeks than this man. And he lines a single to right field. Hitting .463. He delivers the first hit for the Rockies today. Shoots the ball the opposite way. The long, lanky second baseman brings up Nick Hundley. Nick, now 31 years of age, signed by the Padres, grew up through their minor league system, and of course performed for San Diego. And he lines it foul. Good friend of Will Venable. I know they got together last night. When Mac Wieters was injured last year in Baltimore, they were desperate. And so made the deal for Hundley. He was back when in 2005 the Padres' second-round pick. 1-1. You know, you're drafted by a ball club, you come into the minor leagues, you're a homegrown Padre, you're a homegrown whatever, and your dream is you want to stay with that team for a long time. You develop relationships not only with players but coaches and staff. Well, the nature of the beast, especially these days in this game, chances of having one uniform hanging in your closet after your career, very, very slim. 7 years in a San Diego uniform. Hit .233 with the Orioles last year. His lifetime averaged .238. Checks his swing. Did not go around and works the count to 3-1. After Hundley is Rafael Ynoa. Late substitution for Arenado at third base. Full count.
Scores right, folks. If you're just joining us here in the second inning, the Padres with 5 in the first and 4 in the second. 9 runs on 9 hits. Rough starter Jorge De La Rosa. 2-out single by LeMahieu. The first base hit, 3-2, and another foul. We'll be right back with you tomorrow night at 5 o'clock West Coast time here on Fox Sports San Diego with the pregame show. Brandon Morrow looking for his first win. Has pitched so very well. 1.29 ERA will draw Tyler Matzek. Talented left-hander for the Rockies. He's 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA. 3-2. Whoa! This one hits Despaigne as well. He'll try to cover but can't. Alonso will make sure that LeMahieu doesn't go any farther. Boy, they're taking batting practice and bullseye practice at Despaigne. He's been a target here. A shot off Gonzalez hits him in the calf, and this one looked to hit him almost in the chest. Let's see it again. Oh, man.
That poor kid. Off the shin, off the chest.
Oh, man.
Hockey suit. And look, after he gets hit, he does his job. He's covered. And the only reason why I'm chuckling is because he's chuckling. I mean, I don't like to see anybody get hit with a line drive. It looks like Jed, they must be having some conversation there that's making somebody
say they should have caught it.
Laugh. You got to charge those, huh? Boy, that's so relieving when everybody breaks huddle there and is kind of chuckling a little bit.
It's scary. Remember yesterday the Mets lost 2 players in the game. One of them, Travis DeYarno, the catcher with a broken hand, then Jerry Blevins, their pitcher, fractured a forearm on a line drive coming back to the mound. So a couple of 2-out singles for the Rockies brings up Rafael Inoa, the switch hitting utility infielder. He's 0 for 5 in his limited play so far.
Dick, here's how twisted my mind is. You know what's going to happen now? If I'm on this ball club, if I'm on the Padres and I'm a pitcher,
right,
I'm greeting Despaigne at the top step with a set of catcher's gear, shin guards, and a chest protector, and saying, "Wear this next time you go out."
Somebody might.
That's the way I'm thinking.
We'll keep an eye on the dugout, see if that happens. In the dirt, trying to go to third. The throw by Norris, and he is out. Oh my! LeMahieu, a terrible risk. With a 9-0 game, trying to advance. What was the benefit in that? Well, he winds up making the third out at third base. A baseball no. Might have been in there. At the moment, we've completed 2. Norris has another throw out, and the Padres lead by 9. Welcome back to Coors Field in downtown Denver. The Padres with an early 9-0 lead in the pitching change. De La Rosa given the rest of the night off, and Christian Friedrich comes in, the 26-year-old. And our pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
Well, Christian Friedrich, we've seen him before. I think he made his major debut against the Padres a couple years ago. He can start, he can relieve. Fastball, curveball, slider, about 83 to 89 on that fastball from Friedrich.
Two strikes the count as Despagne seems disinterested in swinging the bat. Oh my, there's a base hit. This is the Padres night. Break out the champagne. Look at the dugout. Disbelief abounds. The 10th hit of the night. Get that ball for Odrisamer Despagne. Oh, in his 31st at bat. He's now 1 for 31. Figure it out. He's going to work his way up to 100 in no time.
Oh, good for him. Pitch is elevated. He just has to get the head of the bat out in front, and he hits that hole on the right side. Odrisamer Despagne, congratulations. And the react from his teammates. Look at Shikatse banging on the top of the the fence there in the dugout.
Bronze that ball and send it to Cooperstown.
Good for him.
They better point out where second base is. He'd never been this far before away from home plate. Will Myers has scored 2 runs, singled and scored to open the first inning, safe on an error by Tulowitzki, and scored in the second. Oh, his average is up to .032.
They got to start somewhere.
We can laugh only because he laughs. He's had fun with himself. I started to tell you about the batting practice with Bud Black throwing batting practice. I watched 10 pitches, and he hit the ball out of the cage 3 times, and the other 2 were just little dribblers. I mean, in batting practice. Yeah. Bud Black must have taught him something. 1-2 the count in the dirt. So we can close the book in De La Rosa. It may be his roughest performance ever as a starter here at Coors Field. Probably is. 2 innings, 9 runs, 7 earned, 9 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. And down goes Will Myers. 1 away. Brings up Derek Norris, 2 for 2 on the night. Has scored 2 runs. On his fastball. Native of Evanston, Illinois, from Northwestern, is Christian Friedrich. Inside, 1-1. Bloop double down the right field side in the first, and a sharp single to left for Derek Norris. Speed had him out in front.
Oh, this is a great opportunity for Christian Friedrich. Picking up De La Rosa.
Did his college pitching at Eastern Kentucky. He's the long man. Opening this 3rd inning. His team down 9-0. Reminder, our closed captioning in tonight's game is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Despaigne, an unfamiliar piece of real estate, first base. And another foul. Norris will do that, and the more we see him, he spoils a lot of pitches, doesn't he?
I think that's common throughout this whole lineup, but you're absolutely right, Dick.
Brunhild is here with us today. Hubba hubba.
That was a sweet hat. You need one of those on a night like tonight. It's cold.
1-2 again to Norris. Up high.
Nice layoff. I want to see Despaigne run the bases. Oh, keep him warm, one thing, and secondly, get him into that dugout and take a little bit of a blow before he has to go out on the mound.
That'll slice into the crowd.
You know, another thing I like about Odrisamer here, he refuses to wear the jacket on the bases. Nah, you could leave it on the bench. Most pitchers would probably want to wear the jacket, right? Keep the,
you would think,
the arm warm.
He's a bit unorthodox. I think he falls in that category.
Sure.
It's in there. Strike three. So Friedrich strikes out Myers and gets Norris looking. And with 2 outs, here's Matt Kemp. Kemp off to a great start. 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, and 3 knocked in. Double to right center in the first to score 2, and singled on the ground through the left side. Knocked in another run in the second inning. Living up to his reputation of enjoying his play here at Coors Field. Lifetime .322 hitter in Denver. Friedrich, after giving up the base hit to Despaigne, baffling Myers and Norris, and he's got Kemp in the hole. 0-2. Lanky lefty, 6'4", 215. He's 26. Now here's Kemp's action so far tonight. In the first inning, hits this shot to right center field, and that brought in both Myers and Norris to make it an early 2-0. And then last time up, a roller past Tulowitzki, and he plates another run. So, scored 2, knocked in 3. Takes that one, 1-2. Justin Upton would be next. We're only in the third. Everyone in the lineup has a hit already except Clinton Varmus. Ground ball sharply, but Tulowitzki there to get the short out at second base. And the Padres scoreless in the third, but it was not without a big moment. Odrisamer, Despaigne. Take that one, Babe Ruth. He's in the book. Sharp single to right. will face Rafael Inoa, the pitcher spot, and then Charlie Blackmon in the last of the third, leaning on a 9-0 lead. And after he came in with that base hit, the dugout was ready for him, a standing ove. Everyone wanted a piece of Despaigne. What a wonderful moment. There's a wonderful camaraderie in this team.
Sure is.
Inoa was up when there was a short pass ball, and LeMahieu at second base tried to advance to third, and Norris threw out his fifth. Make that seventh runner this year. He had 8 all last year at Oakland. He's already nailed 7 runners with the Padres this year.
And Derek would be the first to admit, because I talked to him in Chicago for a pregame show, he credits the pitching staff holding the runners, giving them a better chance to throw out those runners. He's doing a fine job behind the plate.
Two and one. Friedrich is in the on-deck circle, so apparently a 9-0 game. Walt Weiss is not going to waste a bench player. Went around 2-2. Oh for 5 on the new season, Inoa. Shortstop Barmas. One away. Chris Budden, what do you have for us?
Well, Dick, the guys like to rib Despaigne for his choice in clothing. So a few of them made a bet with him that as soon as he gets his first hit, they'd buy him some clothes. So when he came off, he screams, "Yes!" and then told the guys, "I get a new closet."
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Chris.
A new closet. That's classic.
Friedrich, a rare chance to hit as a relief pitcher. He started a few games last year, started 3 times. Slides that one outside, a riding fastball. 1-1. Off home plate. That's going to be very tough play. But he gets him by a stride. High kangaroo bounce, and then Despaigne has to go down back slope with the mound to field it. Risky business, and gets the out.
That is not an easy play. Boy, he's doing it all. He's taking baseballs off the shin, off the chest, swinging the shillelagh, going to right, and then making the play himself, falling back off the mound.
And to be able to locate first base and throw a strike over there, because he had no time to focus. He just knew about where it was and fired a strike over to Alonso. 2 away, and here's leadoff hitter Charlie Blackmon. Struck out swinging the first time.
You know, I know it's only April 20th, but that could be the line of the year. I'm getting a new closet.
Well, there's enough money down that dugout. They could buy him a closet full of clothes, couldn't they? Slow curveball in there. The Rockies have come home from an interesting road trip. They took 3 in a row in San Francisco, then lost 3 in L.A. As the Dodgers haven't lost but 1 game at home, and that was to the Padres in the opening series of the season. And LA now is on a 7-game winning streak. Three and one.
Hey, I found Waldo. There he is.
Not by accident that he's attired that way, I would guess. 3 and 1. Now you don't want to walk anyone with a 9-0 lead. Make them hit their way on. 2-out walk, and Blackmon is aboard.
Follow the Padres all season in 2015 with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with an in-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, and much, much more. You can get radio broadcast, StatCast, and much, much more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Got to have it if you're a baseball fan.
So a 2-out walk, and Corey Dickerson took a third strike, his first at bat. That's in there. Padres last season, as has been the case in so many other years, coming to Denver. Tough to win a game here. They were 2-7 last season at Coors. Made amends at home. They were 7-3 at Petco. Way off speed at 69, and a weak wave by Dickerson.
That'll get you antsy. That'll get you out in front. A slow breaking ball.
First time that Despaigne has taken the mound here in Denver. He did pitch against the Rockies last year at Petco and went 7 shutout innings. Chop to second. Nice bounce for Jerko, and an easy inning for Despaigne. We've completed 3 as we go to the top of the 4th. Justin Upton will be leading it off for the San Diego Padres. Upton with a single. All right, thanks, Mike. A high pop fly on the right side off the bat of Justin Upton. And it's collected by LeMahieu for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Christian Friedrich. And that'll bring up Will Middlebrooks. Drew Stubbs has gone into the game in center field. And Blackman has moved over to left field. Dickerson out of the game. So Walt Weiss in a 9-0 hole, figuring he'd get some other players some action tonight. Middlebrooks struck out his first time and then just sent a low line drive that just took off over the head of Blackman in center field for a 2-run triple his last time. 2-0. Jerko to follow. That light rain we had earlier in the game, long gone. Outside corner, 2-1.
A little chill in the air, not bad. The breeze, very, very slight.
A lot of snow yet in the foothills.
Yeah.
Here in the Rockies. Strike 2, 2-2. And the temperature expected to fall to the mid-30s before games end. But no wind. That's a delight. Line drive right to Inoa, the third baseman. 2 away. 5 straight retired by Friedrich. And it's time now for a great moment in Padres history, brought to you by Geico. April 2004, the Padres' Ryan Klesko goes the opposite way. The first walk-off home run in Petco Park history. 3-run shot, and the Padres beat the D-backs 6-5. Klesko with a home run. Jed Jerko. A walk and a RBI double for Jed, who continued his excellent hitting against De La Rosa. Now 11 for 16 with 4 doubles. And nubbed out toward the mound. A fairly easy play. The underhand toss. And Friedrich's come in to restore some order. 6 up, 6 down. Bottom of the 4th we go. 9-0 Padres. Five times in the first inning. Matt Kemp driving in 2 with that double to right center field. Jed Jerko doubled into the right field corner to knock in another. And before the first inning was over, the Padres, on Alonso's base hit and a sacrifice fly, had a 5-0 lead. Then in the second inning, Kemp delivered again an RBI single. And Will Middlebrooks, look at this line shot, just carried over Blackman all the way to the center field wall. A triple that scored 2 more. And the Padres own a 9-0 lead behind Odrisamer Despaigne. There's one other highlight. We just didn't have enough time, but we would have led with it. And that's Despaigne with his first major league hit, a single through the right side of the infield. Will Venable replaces Upton. Upton with that sore quad and on a cold, wet night. But Black not taking any chances of him aggravating it. Leads the game, and Venable is in left field. Tulowitzki grounds a single to right field. Grounded to shortstop his first time. That's the 3rd hit off Despaigne and brings up Carlos Gonzalez.
Hey, limit the Rockies to singles. Keep the ball on the ground. Take your chances that way with a 9-0 lead.
Gonzalez drove a shot right back to the mound that hit Despagne in the calf, and he threw out Gonzalez the first time up. National League batting champion in 2010 when he hit .336. He and Tulowitzki, if they stay healthy, Colorado will have a say about the NL West. Out of play. Padres, meanwhile, with 9 runs in the first 4 innings. Their high for the year was 10. Beat the Giants 10-2 at Petco.
Well, the big thing for the Rocks is the pitching. Is the pitching going to hold out? Sure, they're always going to lead the league in hitting, no doubt about it. But the ERAs are just astronomical, both on the road and at home.
68-mile-an-hour curve that hangs high. Shift is on. Middlebrooks is way over on the left side, much closer to second than third. And stack them up. The pull hitting Gonzalez. 2-1. Changeup. Nine runs, 10 hits for the Padres. No runs, 3 hits for the Rockies. By the mound, charged by Jerko. He gets the out at first, and Tulowitzki moves up into scoring position.
Well, let's take a look at the repertoire. What's in the toolbox of Odrisamer Despagne? Upper left, the 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam fastball, the fingers on the seams of the ball. You get that dip away from a left-hander from a right-handed pitcher. The changeup, that's been one of the pitches he's shown tonight. You see, jams it in the back of his hand, and his ring finger and middle finger are up in the air. And then the curveball, getting up on top of that curveball, lower right, get the good spin.
See how he has placed the 2 upper fingers on the seams of the ball, and the 2 lower fingers as well. Using that to snap the curveball. 1 out. Here's Justin Morneau. And he hits one into right center field. That's going to fall for a hit. And Tulowitzki will score. And Morneau's base hit. It's 9-1. Off the head of the bat. But again, there's a lot of green grass here at Coors Field. A lot of place to collect base hits.
Let's check out the pitch. Is it away? It's a backdoor breaking ball. And you could tell that sound. It was a hollow sound. It was not on the sweet spot. Off the end of the bat. And as Dick mentioned, a lot of real estate out there. You know, you're respecting the power of a hitter like Morneau, so it dumps in there. Scores the run.
Surprisingly, only his 3rd RBI of the season. So a 1-out run for the Rockies to make it 9-1. And here's LeMahieu. He singled to right field his first time. And then made a puzzling move to try to move from second to third with 2 outs and 2 on a short pass ball, and Derek Norris threw him out. Second to Adrian Gonzalez in batting average starting tonight. And he's actually better than .463 at the moment with a base hit first time up. Won a Gold Glove at second base last year, and now hitting like he wants to go to the All-Star game.
Oh, that's paint. Well, going back to last year, 7 innings at Petco last year, and then this year 10 1/3.
That's a strike. 2-2.
The first run that Despagne has given up for these Rockies.
Mayhew was a terrific trade made by the Rockies. They sent Ian Stewart, Casey Weathers to the Cubs, and they got Tyler Colvin and DJ LeMahieu. 2-2. Sliced foul down the right field side. He was a 2nd-round pick of the Cubs back in 2009. Out of Brother Rice High School in Bloomfield Hills near Detroit. is going to fall away from Alonso. Good hustle, but wasn't hit high enough for Yonder to get there.
Hey, you want to be one of the coolest people at Petco Park? Well, be the first to check out one of the newest seating areas at Petco. It's the Point, presented by Ballast Point. New seating area in left field features in-seat waiter service, beer from Ballast Point, great views of the field. You know, you get your tickets to the Point. Next Padres homestand, go to Padres.com. It's good stuff.
While you're there, look over the schedule and get your game tickets. Looking ahead, there's some good games coming up, especially this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Dodgers swing and a miss, strike 3. Second out here in the 4th inning, and the 3rd strikeout for Despaigne.
Going up the ladder, we talk about all the off-speed stuff from Despaigne, the curveball, the changeup. He humps up, reaches back, kind of goes up a little bit. That almost had like a little cut on it maybe as well. Tough to tell. Well, the one thing that's not tough to tell, the swing and the miss. Take a hike.
Nick Hundley singled back through the box. That one hit Despaigne in the chest. That 2nd inning, a rough inning. He was hit by 2 line drives, one off the bat of Gonzalez on his left calf, and Hundley struck him right between the N and the D in San Diego. Might have gotten a glove on it to deflect it a bit, but just a self-defense move. Inside, 2-0. Tulowitzki with a leadoff single, a ground out, and Morneau's RBI base hit, getting the Rockies on the board here in the 4th inning. 9-1 for the Padres. Despaigne struggled away from Petco last year. He pitched so well at home, and again has had success this year. 4-1 at Petco lifetime. Out of play. But on the road, Mark, 1-6 with a 5.31 ERA. Totally different person.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? And I mentioned that in the pregame show how, you know, usually splits are like 2.5, 3.7.
Right.
But my goodness, that's a huge gap. I would like to go back and see if there was 1 or 2 outings maybe to where he really coughed it up and had a bad outing. Maybe dropped a 6th spot or a 7th spot.
1-6 doesn't like. Of course, he didn't get a lot of run support either.
That's right.
Didn't get anything like this.
Yeah.
Hundley takes the breaking ball outside, and the count is full. Rafael Linoa is on deck. Nick has to be motivated, seeing the San Diego uniform, would like to showcase his offense as a single. And a walk. The 2nd walk from Despaigne, and it's time now for the tools of the trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks.
One of the tools in the toolbox of Odrisamer Despaigne. Well, let's take a look at the couple. The big looping curveball, and I want to make note, 5.4 feet in the air, and it ends up at 3.4. According to my math, that's 2 feet dropping off the table. You talk about throwing so many pitches that keep hitters off balance. When you mix that one in there, they're going to be off balance and get weak swings.
First pitch strike to Inoue, grounded to short his first time up. 2 on with 2 out. And a run home.
Don't forget about that shillelagh in the toolbox of Odrisamer and Despaigne now.
That's right. Yeah, he's got a big toolbox. Line drive under the glove of Jerko. That'll bring Morneau around to score. It's 9-2. Well, they're starting to peck away. It's just the 4th inning, and the lead cut by 2 here. And 3 singles and a walk.
Left-hander. This ball is hooking a little bit under the glove of Jerko. I know he had to dive for it. It looked like it was just under the glove.
So 2 on, 2 out, and Friedrich is going to hit again. He bounced to the mound the first time, and he tries to bunt, and Hundley's caught off second, and the ball knocked down by Barmas. Throw was tailing toward the shortstop side. Barmes did a good job of keeping it out of the outfield, although Myers was there to back it up. So to save the bullpen in a 9-2 game, even though there's 2 men on, you bring up somebody, hits it out of here. It's 9-5. But Walt Weiss figuring I'm not going to make a lot of trips out to the pen tonight. See if Friedrich can keep the inning going.
With the way these games can change in a heartbeat, you're going to save your bullets for later, probably, right? That's probably what Walt Weiss is thinking.
Well, Despagne having a tough inning here with 3 singles and a walk. Just the 4th inning. After seeing Despagne get a base hit, I guess Weiss figures, hey, anything can happen. And he hits it sharply. Jerko there to cover and throw him out. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Rockies. We go to the 5th, 9-2. To you by Saquon Casino. Real friendly, real close. By Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazin' Chicken Sandwich. And by Mercury Insurance. You could get 2 free Padres tickets. Learn more at mercuryinsurance.com. A mile-high city, the capital city of the great state of Colorado. Coors Field in its 20th season. Padre fans, we often see a lot of San Diegans migrated up this way, ski country. And some of them come up here and say, well, we might want to stay here a little longer. They come out to the yard. And then the top of the 5th inning, Friedrich, who's retired the last 6 in a row, will face the bottom 3 Padre order. Alonso, Barmes, and that wicked man with the stick, Despagne.
And it's time for the Padres to get one of those 2 runs back.
Alonso has knocked in 3 tonight with an RBI single and a sacrifice fly. So he now has 7 runs batted in. Quietly having a very good start to this season. Up the middle, the shift is on. That's Tulowitzki over there. Third baseman was over on the second base side. 7 in a row. Clint Barmes, former Rocky. And there's one of his fans who's still loyal to the cause, even though he has traded uniforms. Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch is there. She's looking good.
Tell you what, the scouting report on Clint Barmes, you know, we know about his hitting and his glove, but the one thing that really stuck out is his personality and what a great guy he is off the field.
You know, there are not many you would say gentleman.
Yeah,
he's a gentleman.
He certainly is.
Struck out and popped up. And it's 0-2. Now Friedrich really has calmed the storm here, hasn't he? 7 straight outs. in relief of starter De La Rosa. Gave up the single to Despaigne, and that's been it since he arrived. Fly ball slicing off first. A long run for Morneau, and can't catch it. Tough catch. It leaning away, trying to find it up in the lights. And Barmes has second life.
Twisting and turning, name, number towards the infield, and he's going back out towards the foul line, and just a lot of movement there. Flash look.
Here's the official score. Just going to rule that a no play. No error flashed on the board. So back 1-2, Friedrich. Hit well to deep left center field. A long run for Stubbs, and he can't get it. Kisses off the wall, and Barmes joins the hit parade. Every Padre in the lineup now with a base hit as he cruises into second with a double.
Friedrich has been throwing the ball extremely well. Clint Barmes gets an elevated pitch, and Stubbs, who's got good speed now, just kind of gives up on that one because you can smell that wall creeping up on him. And Duck Dynasty backing him up there. You have to do that here at Coors Field. The corner outfielders, you got to back up your center fielder, and vice versa, center field left and right.
And that brings up the heavy hitting Despaigne. He's got a base hit already. How about an RBI? And a new closet. Another suit. Everyone with a big smile, happy for Despaigne.
Yeah, he wants the baseball.
Salutes his teammates in the dugout. Yeah, a popular refrain. You never know what you're going to see when you come out to the ballpark. We certainly didn't expect to see Despaigne with a base hit. The over-under was the All-Star break. Of course, that pitching fraternity, all proud of their hitting. There's a little something going on there. End of the year, which one has done the best, not only in the mound, but with the bat. By the mound. That'll move the runner along. Situational hitting for Despaigne. Gets his runner over to third. And brings up the leadoff man, Will Myers.
On the charter last night, I got a chance to talk to this guy. I'll tell you what, folks. He is a beauty. He is a competitor. He is fitting in just fine here in San Diego. And the other pitchers and players are following his lead.
Now we're going to see him on Wednesday night. He'll be going against Kyle Kendrick of the Rockies. So Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So he'll not pitch in the Dodgers series. He'll open the Houston series. Brandon Morrow tomorrow night. Shields will go on Wednesday looking for his third win. And Tyson Ross in the day game on Thursday. It's going to be a noon game TV time back to San Diego. 0-1 to Myers. Singleton scored. Safe on Tulowitzki's error and scored. Struck out the last time. LaTroy Hawkins, the ageless right-hander, now 42, warming up. Two strikes on Myers.
Got to get that run home. Make it 10. Clutch 2-out hitter. We've seen a lot of that this year. We've documented that as well. Padres 7 for 10 tonight. Runners in scoring position.
There it is. Line shot to center. That'll plate Barmes, and it is 10-2 as Myers drives in his 8th run of the season.
Oh, a sweet swing for Sweet Tea driving in that run. I guarantee he starts talking to Jose there. Yeah, he started a conversation.
He's talking to the ball too.
Yeah.
Just go right out there to center field for me.
What a pretty swing. Doesn't really have a spread out stance, Will Myers. He kind of stands tall and erect and then a little stride. Driving in Clint Barmas.
So the Padres now 10 runs on a dozen hits, 2 each for Myers, Norris, and Kemp at the top of the order. And everyone else in the lineup with it 1 hit. While the Rockies, it's kind of a reversal of form, isn't it? The Rockies have scored 2 on 5 singles. The Padres have 10 on 4 doubles and a triple. No home runs in the game. Friedrich stays in, and Derek Norris will be the hitter.
Hey, how do you get warm in that dugout? Yeah, Yonder Alonso's next to that space heater down there. Looks like a traffic signal that's on the brink.
Yeah, a lot of caution. They should have told De La Rosa. Norris, a double, a single, and a strikeout. And he hits it high to right field. That's got some distance. It's to the wall, and Gonzalez can't get it. That's going to score Myers all the way from first base. Another double, and the Padres lead 11-2. Oh my, does Norris like to hit against left-handed pitching? 3 for 4 tonight, and he has his first RBI in the game.
Got extended. And that's the thing you cannot do here at Coors Field is try to pull that pitch. If you square it up, might be a routine fly ball somewhere else, but here it's going to travel. You're going to hit the gap.
And another double for the Padres, and that brings Walt Weiss out of the first base dugout to make a pitching change. So Christian Friedrich, a couple of good innings, but here in the 5th has given up a double to Barmas, single RBI Myers, and an RBI double to Norris. And the Padres have 11, their high scoring mark of the season. Talked about topics in San Diego, serious business. Are the Chargers going to stay? San Diego Chargers special counsel Mark Fabiani, he's going to stop by and discuss it all. You won't want to miss that. Where do the Chargers stand? Is it going to be in our great city, or are they going to move north? That's tomorrow after Padres Live on Fox Sports San Diego. They call it Lodo, low downtown. It's the historical part of Denver. Union Station. I had a chance to go over there today. I love old train stations. They're so beautiful. I tweeted the picture of the beautiful chandeliers in there.
Say that again?
I tweeted the pictures, a photo that I took of Union Station.
You tweeted?
I tweeted. Like a big bird, I tweeted. No, I'm moving into this century. I'm telling you, beware.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Here's Kemp. 2 hits and 3 RBIs for Matt. And LaTroy Hawkins, he was the closer at the start of the season and had a couple of disappointing performances, blowing saves, and so now relegated to a middle reliever. Derek Norris out at second base with his third hit of the game, a couple of doubles and a single for the Padre catcher. Still can get it up there, 93 miles an hour at age 42.
Yes, he can. And you know what? LaTroy Hawkins into his 19th year in the big leagues.
He was drafted in 1991 by the Twins in the 7th round. Another fastball, 2-1.
That one at 93. LaTroy can still get up to 95, 96. From Gary, Indiana. Another good guy in this game of baseball, LaTroy Hawkins.
2 balls and a strike to Kemp. A little more on the fastball as he challenged Matt Kemp at Coors Field. Well, the home runs, doesn't have .322 of them, but he has 14. The column is just down 1. But he's had great success here, batting over .322. And he's 2 for 3 and 3 more RBIs tonight. Chance for yet another 2-2. And that one sails deep down the right field side. So in the battle for the RBI lead for the Padres, Kemp with 3 tonight has 12. Upton started with 8. Middlebrooks with 2 tonight has 11. So those are the 2 run batted in producers for the Padres at the moment. Will Venable is on deck. He took the place of Justin Upton, a cleanup spot. Upton given the rest of the night off after going 1 for 3. Outside, Hawkins wanted that one, but it was clearly wide. Full count. Feeding him a steady diet of fastballs.
Yeah, and a lot of pitches up in the zone. You saw by the Fox tracks there. He's had some pitches to do some damage.
Two more for the Padres here in the top of the 5th after they scored 5 in the first and 4 more in the second to jump out to a 9-0 early lead. Spoiling a lot of pitches. Yep. 9th at bat. Pitch at this at bat. 11 runs on 13 hits for the Padres.
It's a great looking line, isn't it?
Most runs of the season for San Diego. Trying to make this a very successful road trip, something they didn't do last year. Going to try to break even, 500 on the road and get your share at home, which the Padres at Petco certainly do. Best record National League West at home last year. That went off the fists into foul territory. Morneau doesn't have a chance.
He got it in the kitchen right there, Matt Kemp. That's got to make the hands sting a little bit.
So the 10th pitch of this at bat coming up.
Look at this pitch in the kitchen of Matt Kemp. Trying to fight it off.
Not about to be satisfied with a walk.
Right.
Broken bat by Tulowitzki. Here comes Norris around third. The Padres will get another as Matt Kemp a 4 RBI night, and the Padres lead 12-2. That was quite a battle, and Kemp finally wins his 3rd hit tonight and 4th RBI.
Great battle, as you mentioned, Dick, and it sounded like he broke his bat. He probably did, so that bat will die happy, driving in a run.
That run will go on the sheet of Christian Friedrich. So he leaves 2 2/3 innings, 3 runs, all earned, 4 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And Will Venable bats for the first time. Now here, this will just be more evidence how different this batting lineup is for the San Diego Padres from that was the worst in baseball last year. In the last 2 series here in Colorado last year, as Venable just missed that, or did he? High to right field. Gonzalez going back, and doesn't get it. It's over the top of the wall. Touch 'em all, Venable. 2 more as Venable joins this incredible performance with the Padres batting order tonight. Another big crooked number. They've kicked a couple of extra points now with that 2-run home run. It is 14-2.
You know what? Call me crazy for saying this, but this is a catchable ball. Gonzalez, he drifted, then hit the top of the wall. That's a catchable ball. But you know what it is? It's a big league hang with them because Will Venable just hit a home run.
First home run of the night.
He drifted that. He should have sprinted back to the wall. You can always come in. When you go back to the wall, you have that ability to jump the wall, climb the wall. Good for Will Venable.
Second home run of the season. Had a key base hit coming off the bench in Chicago that broke a 2-2 tie. So there again, you know, the strength of the batting order. And those that get less of a chance come in and they join the parade. I didn't finish that comparison as Will Middlebrooks goes down swinging, strike 3. Quickly, the Padres tonight with 14 runs in the last 2 series against Colorado last year. 6 games, mind you. Padres scored 13 runs. They've scored 14 tonight in 5 innings. Oh my.
A lot of ground to cover, but you just do the best you can knowing the ball's going to travel well. Give yourself a little bit of room and just be ready to run in the long ways.
Be ready to run. That was Will Beneville's advice to Will Myers, who's making his first start here at Coors Field. And I actually got a chance to talk to Myers right before the game, and he was looking out and he was like, dang, that place is big. I'm standing outside right field and right above the Rockies bullpen. And from this perspective, you really get a chance to see just how massive this outfield is. And you've seen by the play so far today, it's a tough place to cover.
It is indeed, and 375 is really short in this ballpark. That's about 360 in sea level, and the prevailing wind comes through that break between the left field stands and the scoreboard and helps boost any ball hit that way. I mean, the ball that Venable hit for a home run, great. He got his second home run of the year, but that's a routine fly ball at Petco Park. Bigger in center field, 415. Line drive, shortstop Barmas. So Blackman hits it hard for an out. Espana needs 2 more to be the pitcher of record. Brooks Brown now warming up in the Colorado bullpen. Drew Stubbs batting for the first time. He replaced Corey Dickerson a couple of innings ago. So this is his first at bat. Good power to right center, Stubbs. (14-2). The Padres have had 3 scoring innings, and have they ever been big ones? Tied him up. 5 first inning, 4 in the second inning, 5 in the 5th inning. A safety for Colorado in the 4th. This is my 6th year with the Padres, and of course memory is short, but I can't remember a game like this where the Padres have just ripped apart Coors Field. I mean, I've seen it the other way around. Out of play. So let's embrace this and hope that they didn't use up all their runs in the first game of this 4-game series.
And you know, when you look at Bud Black and you take a look at that statistical part of Padres history, 16. He's done it twice, back in '95 and 08.
And they've got 14 with 4 more innings to be played.
Buddy, the same intensity as a manager, right? Managing that scorecard, trying to get the most out of Odrisamer Despaigne. I'll tell you what, if he can get 2 more innings out of him.
80 pitches.
Yeah. If you get a solid 7.
Into the glove of catcher Norris, strike 3. 4th strikeout for Despaigne.
Still looks sharp, hitting his spots. Kind of lowers the arm angle a little bit there, outside corner. Beautiful pitch.
So here's more good news for Bud Black and Darren Balsley, the pitching coach. Ian Kennedy, 80 pitches today down in Peoria in an extended spring training game. Came out of it feeling just fine. Tulowitzki has a single and a ground out, and so he's eligible to come off the injured list on Saturday. So it's interesting. He pitched today. Despaigne replacing him in the starting rotation pitches today. So the question will be on Saturday. Line foul. Does Despaigne get the start? The guess is it'll be Kennedy against the Dodgers. And Despaigne will go back into the bullpen. But what a job he's done replacing Kennedy.
Isn't it nice to have that weapon in your back pocket, right? 6 starters.
Yep, 6 starters. And Josh Johnson, all the reports on Josh Johnson coming back that he is rapidly getting himself in shape, and he might come back as another starter. But what do you do with 7?
7-man rotation.
Nice problem to have. Too low. Takes it low and away. 2-1. Where's that number 2? He liked all the shortstops growing up, but his favorite was Derek Jeter. High fly ball, shallow in center. Myers, a long run, finally gets there. And the inning comes to an end. 1, 2, 3 go the Rockies in the 5th. All right, Mike, and thank you for that update on Chris Bryant and the Cubs. As Brooks Brown, former University of Georgia Bulldog, on the mound now for Colorado, and Jed Jerko will lead it off. RBI double, scored a run. He's walked and bounced out to the mound. Brown made his big league debut with Colorado in July last year. Pitched in 28 games. 1-1. And held the opponents to a .208 batting average, so that raised some eyebrows for the Rocky management. He was highly regarded out of Georgia. He was the 34th overall pick by Arizona.
Yeah, he's got a live arm. 92 to 96 on the fastball.
1-2 to Jerko.
Got a curveball, slider, and change mix. Always working from the stretch. Brooks Brown, good baseball name.
Some Hall of Fame Brooks, and there's some Hall of Fame Browns. Blowing away. 2-2. Not only has every player in the lineup collected at least one hit, including Will Venable, who's only been up once, replacing Justin Upton, but everyone in the top 7 in the order has an RBI. Chases it in the dirt.
Go.
The ball rolls over the dugout roof of the Padres, and safe at first base will be Jerko on a strikeout. So Jerko chases the ball in the dirt and winds up at first base. That's just how the game is going tonight for San Diego.
Two strikes, swung on a miss, ball in the dirt, get away, hot potato. Strikeout, wild pitch, and Jed Jerko on first base tried to add on to the 14 runs tonight.
Yonder Alonso has knocked in 3 2 on a single in the first, another on a sacrifice fly in the second. Grounded out the last time. That should be 2. Tulowitzki flips to LeMahieu and back to first. A double play. Hit hard by Alonso, but right to the shortstop Tulowitzki. 6-4-3.
Saturday, MLB returns starting with an AL Central battle as the Indians take on the Tigers in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1. Then, it's the return of the Subway Series as the Pinstripers, the Yankees, battle the Metropolitans. Coverage begins at 9:30 a.m. on America's home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Maybe if the Padres continue and the Dodgers, they'll actually get a West Coast game on Fox Sports. Yeah. Line drive, base hit by Barmes, so he's 2 for 4. And double play erasing a chance for an addition to that 14-2 lead. And Despagne will bat for the 4th time. In case you weren't with us, he singled through the right side, his first major league hit in the 3rd inning, and brought that whole dugout to its feet. DH in Cuba, so Despagne never really thought seriously about hitting.
Yeah.
Lines that one, and that'll slice foul. And it's time for our Bill Howe play of the game. Goodness, with 14 runs and 16 hits, what could it be? Despagne, a historical single through the right side.
You know what? I'm going to say it again. It's April 20th. That's my moment of the year. Before the Padres go in the playoffs this year, you know how we always just say, what's your favorite play of the year? Mark it down. That's my moment.
1 and 2. Now he's
I don't have to say any more.
Just brimming with confidence now with the bat. I mean, he's hit the top of the mountain, top of the Rockies. So what if he doesn't get another hit? Look at him spoiling the pitches. Confidence building with every stroke.
Oh, he's going with the double tap, the double toe tap. Hands back. Letting that ball travel a little bit. I don't think that's by design.
Look at that keen eye, not going after that breaking ball low and away. Top of the order, Myers on deck. Full count. Making Brown work. Chop to the right side. LeMahieu throws him out. Middle of the 6th inning at Coors Field. The Padres by 12. Despaigne. Cargo Gonzalez rattles one off his left calf, and then Nick Hundley right in the chest. And he's saying, whoa, what am I? Bullseye? Well, he can slash away, and that single through the right side, his first major league hit, will earn him a suit or more from his teammates. And this is a terrific play. High hopper, he has to go down the back slope of the mound, wheel and throw. And O'Dreesemer, along with his pitching, he's allowed 2 runs on 5 singles tonight, going for his second win of the season. Quite a memorable night for the 28-year-old Cuban. Carlos Gonzalez leads off the 6th inning. Padres with a new right fielder, Corey Spangenberg, replacing Matt Kemp. Gonzalez, that line shot back off the calf of Despaigne. There's Spangenberg in right, and grounded out the last time. Good night's work for Matt Kemp. 3 for 4. 2-run double and 2 RBIs on singles. 3 for 4 and scored 3 times, knocked in 4. That's a nice little report card. So Despaigne, he would like to give his manager at least 6 innings, his pitching count up to 88. Three and 1. Gonzalez, Morneau, and LeMahieu, 3 outstanding hitters for the Rockies here in the 6th. Flared foul. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock for Game 2 of this series on Fox Sports San Diego. It'll be Brandon Morrow for the Padres against Tyler Matzik. Very talented young left-hander for the Rockies. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Changeup gets Gonzalez. 5 strikeouts for Despaigne.
Oh, it looked like he pulled the string on it. The changeup. Let's see if we can peek inside the glove or out of the hand. Oh, yeah, you betcha. The changeup grip, even though it's elevated, kind of floating away right there. And Gonzalez goes down swinging. Some Padre fans that enjoy the outcome of that at bat.
One out to Justin Morneau. He drove in a run with a single his last time. Chops that one over the mound, and there's the shortstop Barmas to throw him out.
Here's an interesting little nugget. You talk about, since Coors Field has been open, this is all time, visiting pitchers who have made their first start, right? Well below 500 with 134, 172 record. Look at the ERA at 6.3. Look at the whip, almost 2 base runners per inning. That's walks and hits combined. Home runs, a home run and a half. And hitting .319. And then you take a look at the 5 2/3 of inning of work right here for O'Dreesemer Despaigne. He is doing quite well, I would say, Mr. Enberg.
Yes, he is. You know, high marks for the right-hander. And he's firing strikes. His fastball, I mean, it's not as if he can't throw 193 miles an hour. He did earlier. And he lays it in there at 89. And he just is a little herky-jerky on the motion and a little speed off, a little on here, a little slow spinning curveball there.
That's what the pitching's all about, right?
Mm-hmm. He is a pitcher. There's the breaking ball at 74. LeMahieu singled to right and struck out swinging.
Hot chocolate with whipped cream.
This is a good night for it.
Yeah, it is.
2-1.
Hey, speaking of hot chocolate, time now to check the Cholula flamethrower. What does the right-hander have? 93.
What? I couldn't even hear that. What was that? Hot sauce. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, keep the change. Buy yourself something nice. Oh, look at that cute little Bronco fan.
He really is.
Yeah. How you doing?
Next coming of Peyton Manning right there. Espana thought he had LeMahieu struck out. Full count. But this umpiring crew has to be relieved. This is the crew that was in that Kansas City Oakland series.
Oh, that's right.
That melee yesterday.
Yeah.
Fly ball right center. Myers trying to close the gap and gets there for the out. So 7 straight retired by Despaigne. We've completed 6 at Coors. Four-game series in the first inning. Ripped a double to right center field, scored a run, knocked in 2. Came back in the second inning with a ground single to left. That knocked in a run. He later scored himself. And then just to cap it off in the 5th inning, he lines a single to center field to drive in another run and score. 3 runs scored, 4 runs knocked in, 3 for 4 for Matt Kemp. Yeah, that's in the driver's seat. Brought to you by Kia.
Driver's seat, yeah. Most definitely. Matt Kemp sniffing the tears tonight.
Changes made for the Rockies here in the 7th inning. Rafael Betancourt comes into the game to pitch. Del Scasso goes in at short for Tulowitzki, and Rosario will replace Morneau at first base. Walt Weiss in a 14-2 deficit, figuring give everybody on the bench a chance to play. Betancourt used to be a setup man, even the closer. Here he is in a 14-2 blowout.
And we know Rafael Betancourt going through his routine, very deliberate out there on the mound in the 6 games. A good ERA. He's a strike thrower. This guy can pinpoint his pitches with the best of them.
Looks like he's lost a lot of weight.
Huh? He's slimmed down, huh? Fastball, changeup, curveball.
Myers swings at the first pitch and drills it deep to center, but Stubbs has a lot of room out there. 1 pitch, 1 out. Myers 2 for 5 in the game. Knocked in a run and scored 3. Here's Derek Norris. He has 3 hits and has scored 3 times. A couple of doubles and a single for Norris. There's the new alignment with only Gonzalez and LeMahieu and Enoa at third base, replacing Arenado, who was lifted from the starting lineup after batting practice. He has a bad wrist. Still, and Hundley behind the plate from the starting lineup. Norris takes ball 1. The attendance tonight, 22,586. Rainy night early, cool night. First game of a homestand for the Rockies, who averaged last year 33,000 fans, even though they had a dismal second half of the season. That ball is hit high and deep. Will it carry? Not enough. Left fielder Blackman able to collect it for the out. Had a good sound, didn't it? A 2 away. A couple of deep drives to the outfield by Myers and Norris for outs. And here's Corey Spangenberg hitting in the Kemp spot in the order, his first at bat. Limited duty for Spangenberg, explaining the 111 batting average. He's had only 9 at-bats with the 1 hit. 90 on the fastball. 14 runs, 16 hits for the Padres. 2 runs, 5 hits for Colorado. Kicks foul.
Well, usually Waldo moves around, but he's easy to spot the second time around.
But once you find him, you know, for him.
Yeah, but he should be moving around.
Well, no, but it's no fun anymore once you found him. You know, the whole game is to find him initially, and you got him right off the bat. So why even try now? I mean, you nailed him. He's a good-looking Waldo, though, isn't he?
Yeah. He loves his baseball. He's sticking around. He's not going anywhere.
Excuse me. First, Corey Spangenberg, Mark. Now here he is. He's a line drive hitter, and look at the alignment they're throwing at him. They're shifting on him. Shouldn't that tell him, hey, you know what? I should try to hit the ball the other way more often.
And the last foul ball, he was rifling over the Padres dugout. Let's see if he goes that way. Betancourt usually tries to go down and away to left-handed hitters, but he's got a lot of room to work with on that third base side. My goodness.
He's got his reputation when he's selected one is back control, makes line drive contact. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Betancourt, a 1-2-3 7th inning. Stretch half of the 7th in Denver. Padres with a 14-2 lead.
Found you.
Yeah, those must be Padre fans because they've had a lot of high fives tonight in a 14-2 lead. And all the more impressive against Jorge De La Rosa, man, the last 2 years here at Coors Field, who has a 20-3 record. They jumped on De La Rosa early for 5 in the first and then 4 more in the second. 2 of those unearned. And Espana back out there to work the 7th inning, giving that bullpen a breather tonight. 99 pitches, but he's rubber arm.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if we realize how clutch and key this outing is for Despaigne and the Padres. And then, like you mentioned, Dick, the bullpen kind of tired.
After giving up a couple of runs in the 4th inning on 3 singles, nothing since, 7 straight outs. And he's ahead of Hundley, 2 strikes with Enoa and the pitcher spot to follow. Rosario is going to hit in the 9th spot of the order.
Here's what it means for the bullpen for the Padres. If Kelly and Maurer were to pitch tonight, that'd be 3 in a row for them. If Dale Thayer were to pitch tonight, that'd be 4 out of 7. If Benoit were to pitch tonight, 8 out of the last 12.
Lifted behind first, a long run for Jerko. He's calling off the first baseman Alonso for the out. Well, you know, the master here next to me, Mark Grant.
Who's that sitting next to you?
He's got, you know, you have a very difficult assignment every game. You know, when I was back in the classroom, I'd like to give my best students the tough assignment, the challenge, because they could handle it. Well, here are the keys to the game. And silver bullets off De La Rosa. Well, that's an A+. No mile-high flubs, no errors. The Padres had committed 12 in the first 13 games. That's an easy one. I'm not going to give you a plus, but I'll give you an A on it.
I'm flattered.
Your GPA is climbing, huh?
Those keys brought to you by the Honda dealers of San Diego County. I appreciate it, Professor. And also, I got to give credit where credit is due. There's the big goose egg in the error column, but Nick Ennis and Ben Sostanovich, advanced scouts who do a lot of hard work. They travel with the club. They go over hours and hours of video, scouting reports, and we're lucky to have them. They kind of helped me with the keys today.
Rafael Enoa, an RBI single in 2 trips, his first hit and first RBI this season, replacing Nolan Arenado. And Descalso is on deck. Hitting in the 8th spot, and Willeen Rosario will bat 9th. Three and 1. So Descalso is going to hit in the 9th spot, and Rosario 3rd. Rounded to the left side, charged by Barmes. 2 away. That's 9 straight now. Retired by Despaigne, closing the deal very impressively. Tonight's game presented in HD by Sony 4K. Here's the veteran Daniel Descalso. Last 5 years with the St. Louis Cardinals. Handles the bat well. Good hit and run man. Lifetime hitter at 243. College baseball at UC Davis.
I don't know that one. What's their nickname?
It's the Aggies.
Oh, okay.
Lined into right field for a base hit. The 6th hit, all singles off Despaigne, and that ends a string of 9 consecutive outs that he's been able to toss at the Rockies. Brings up the leadoff man Charlie Blackmon, and Bud Black with over 100 pitches, 110 for Despaigne, is going to go to the mound and send Despaigne to a warm shower. Well earned. 2 runs, 6 hits. He is responsible for Descalso, but what a performance by OD as Frank Garces jogs in from the bullpen. We'll be back at Coors. The score 14-2. He finishes the game with 5 strikeouts, walked only a couple, gave up his first 2 runs of the season back in the 4th inning. Yes. Fielded his position well, very tough play there. And he shows he's tough. He's taken a couple of shots back to the mound off the leg and off the chest line drives, and has delivered a base hit as well.
That is a great night in the big leagues. Considering pitching here at Coors Field, we gave you the numbers of first-time starters here. Solid 6 2/3 inning of work for the right-hander.
And we just got word from the dugout that closet that he's earned is going to be cedar walls.
Oh, no, he deserves it.
Yeah. If you weren't with us, it's a wonderful story that the players kidding Despaigne. Everyone thought he'd never get a hit. They said, if they get a hit, we'll buy you a suit, right? He misinterpreted that, maybe just the difference in Spanish and English. He came in and said, no, I get a closet. Maybe everyone will chip in and give him more than one suit. A nice wardrobe. So Garces facing Charlie Blackmon. 2-0 the count. High fly ball. And sailing toward the crowd off third. And Solarte has changed places. A bench for third base. Middlebrook's out for the rest of the game. Playing third base now. Well, 22,586. They didn't all stay to the end, understandably. The Rockies fans and hopes had life taken out in the first 2 innings by the Padres, scoring 9 runs. But some have stayed and are rewarded with a souvenir. 3-1 to Blackmon, who is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Big stadium, 50,000 plus it accommodates. 3-hopper to Jerko. And that'll do it for the Rockies in the 7th. Padres storming to an early and big lead, 14-2. Well, it's going to be a great post-game show. You got a lot to cover, just recording and assimilating all the hits by the Padres. Early lead, good pitching, Despaigne, timely hitting. Matt Kemp another big night. Derek Norris with 3 hits. Everybody in the lineup with at least a starting lineup with at least 1 hit. And the first 7 men in the order with at least 1 RBI. New pitchers Adam Ottavino and Venable, who homered the last time, the only home run in the game, rolls out to the mound. 1 away, and that'll bring up Jan Solarte. His home run, a Coors Field special, a high fly ball, just kept going and going, and off the top of the yellow barrier there, away from Carlos Gonzalez, just off his glove and off the top of the wall for his 2nd home run of the year.
Did you see Will's reaction as soon as he hit that ball? He put his head down and kind of just trotted towards first base, thinking that he got under it a little bit too much and was going to stay in the park.
Amazing. And for the Padres, that was a 2-run homer in the last runs that they scored back in the 5th inning. They needed only 3 innings to score the 14 runs. 5 in the first, 4 in the second, 5 more in the 5th. Here's Solarte, his first at bat. Adam Ottavino with an O to start his surname and an O to end it. So that's what he wears on his back. Solarte, a big 2-run home run yesterday. Was it only yesterday? It seems like a week ago they'd hit the home run in Chicago. Watch out. Ooh, wicked line drive off an empty seat. 3-2 in Chicago, and Solarte ties into one down the right field line for his first home run of the season, and that gave the Padres some insurance runs on their way to a 5-2 victory.
That was a good battle in Chicago.
Fouled off a lot of pitches. Fly ball to left field. Blackmon is there. 2 away.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Brings up Jed Jerko. Doubled in a run in the first inning and scored himself. He's walked, struck out, and tapped out to the mound. Ottavino making his 7th appearance of the season. He's allowed only 1 hit in 6 1/3 innings. 96 on the fastball. He walked 1 and struck out 12 in the 6 1/3. Taken again, 1 and 2.
You know, I think Ottavino should pull a Jim Otto and go 0-0. Right?
Yeah.
Remember Jim Otto with the Raiders?
Yeah. He had
OTTO, right? He had 0-0 for a name or for a number. Ottavino, bookend O's.
Off the fist, the roller to second base. Mayhew throws him out. Ottavino a quick 1-2-3 inning, and we go to the bottom of the 8th at Coors, up by 12. used Frank Garces because Garces has not been on the mound for a full week. And he got the final out in the 7th inning. Will face Drew Stubbs, Willeen Rosario, and Carlos Gonzalez here in the 8th inning.
You know what, an outing like this for a pitcher who hasn't pitched for a while, I think it teaches you, it gives you the chance, I should say, to be aggressive. I mean, the wind's out of the sail for this Rockies team. Doesn't mean they're going to give up. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that Frank Garces go out there with a 12-run lead and be aggressive with your pitches. Try not to nibble. Go right after them. Don't try to make the perfect pitch.
Foul back, 2-1 to Drew Stubbs. Entered the game in the 5th inning and fly to center field. The Tigers won again tonight, 2-1. High fly ball, second baseman Jerko back pedals out, and there's one away.
For all Padre home games, all of them, I'm saying, San Diego County first responders receive special pricing on Padres tickets through verification by Government X. They get 25% off all tickets all season long. Can't beat that, right? More info and tickets at Padres.com/first responder. A special way to say thank you to all the first responders out there.
We can't appreciate them or show our appreciation enough. So Willeen Rosario bats for the first time. He's worn out the Padres in the past. And he's used the long ball to do it.
You know, once we got word just before first pitch that Arenado was scratched with the wrist injury, that really kind of hamstrung, no pun intended, hamstrung Walt Weiss, because his bench was then kind of limited. But it really kind of didn't matter because the firepower of the Padre offense. Some serious shillelagh power tonight.
Boone Logan is now throwing in the Colorado bullpen. The road trip started gloriously at 3 in a row at San Francisco, and then the Dodgers dampened it by sweeping the Rockies 3. So this would make it 4 losses in a row for Colorado and drop their record to 7-6. Hit hard to right field. Rosario hasn't forgotten how to hit against the Padres. He's on his way to second with a double.
We've seen Rosario with pull power. Hang him a breaking ball, yeah, he'll spin on it. But I think as time goes on, you know, he's the one guy on the bench for Walt Weiss. If he's not going to start, he's going to put him in late for that big jolt, either to tie a game or to put you ahead. Getting up some at-bats tonight. He went the opposite way very nicely there.
Gonzalez, he stayed in the entire game, the right fielder. Fastball 93 from Garces. Cargo is lined back to the mound, and Despagne off his leg threw him out. He's grounded out and struck out since. One out double. Rosario out at second base, and the breaking ball misses. 2-1. I frankly have to, because Carlos Gonzalez is a Gold Glove outfielder, he has not played like one tonight. I think there were 2 or 3 balls that he normally would catch. Tough chances. Kind of didn't have his heart in it. Maybe with the score and all, he just figured, I'm not going to run into some wall when I'm losing 14-2 or 9-0. Shift is on. Ooh, good cut there.
Here's the shift you're talking about, Dick.
Put 2 men over there and you got the Olympic rings.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, and Garza strikes out Gonzalez. Not a good night for Cargo.
Sweeping breaking ball, lefty on lefty, and if Frank Garces can master this pitch, tight situations, yeah, he's going to be successful. 93 fastball, pull the string for the strikeout.
That's going to bring up the backup catcher, McHenry. Michael McHenry hasn't had many at bats so far this year. .13 to be exact, with a couple of hits. Two outs, Rosario at second, and that ball gets away from Norris. And over to third goes Rosario. See how they score that. Looked like Norris got a glove on it. Hit the dirt.
No, it looks like he just didn't turn his glove over, Dick. He kind of kept his glove pinky side up rather than thumb up. See there? Maybe you should turn the glove the other way, thumb up rather than thumb down.
We haven't heard the scores decision. We're going to put fastball in our book. It is ruled as such. And 3-0 now, the count to McHenry. And with the score 14-2 in the 8th inning. I'm just guessing Walt Weiss would say 3-0. If you like it, swing at it.
Yeah, why not, right?
Didn't like it. 3-1. DJ LeMahieu is on deck. And he walked him. First and third now for the Rockies in the 8th inning. First walk from Garces. And a look ahead at the Padres schedule. 3 more here in Colorado tomorrow night, Wednesday night, a day game on Thursday, then home against the Dodgers. I hope you've made your plans. Tickets are going fast for Friday night, Saturday night, Military Day Sunday. Then Houston, they're off to a good start. The Astros Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next, and then these Rockies in the following weekend.
Yeah, a chance to see Jose Altuve. You mentioned it the other night, Dick. Batting champion last year in the American League, right?
Yeah, terrific young player. LeMahieu, a high fly ball to deep center, but Myers cruising back is under it. And the inning is over. No damage done. A couple of base runners left for the Rockies. We're on our way to the 9th inning. Padres jumped all over Jorge De La Rosa in the first 2 innings, scoring 9 runs. There's the first of the 9 as Norris, who had scored on the double by Matt Kemp. Then Jed Jerko doubled in a run. Alonso, a single through the middle, scored 2 more. 5 in the first. Then the second, Kemp another base hit, and that led to 4 more runs. With Will Middlebrooks, a shot to center field, a laser for a triple. 2 runs scored on his base hit. And then Despagne. Some thought he'd never get a major league hit, but he rolled one through the right side to the delight and even dismay of his teammates. They asked for the ball, and Despagne pitched 7 2/3 solid innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, also with a hit. There's the summary. De La Rosa, 2 innings, 9 hits, 9 runs, 7 of them earned, and the roughest outing of his Coors career. And Kemp 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Norris 3 runs scored, 3 hits. Quite a night for the Padres. Yonder Alonso, a 2-run single in the first. Then he knocked in another run with a sacrifice fly in the second. Has grounded out and grounded into a double play since. Boone Logan is the new pitcher for the Rockies, and he jumps in front 2 strikes. We didn't have time to add Will Venable, his first at bat of the night, hit a 2-run homer off the top of the right field wall. So big night with the Padres. They had their hitting clothes on. 14 runs, 16 hits. Up the middle, they have the shift on, but he beats it. And Alonso has his second hit. Came into the game with a top Padre batting average, 350. And 2 for 4 tonight.
Let's check out the side swing. We saw that in Chicago. Front foot down, hands back, attack. Diving. Descalso can't come up with it.
Clint Barmas, after striking out and popping up, has a double and a single, scored a run. In for a strike.
Well, sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bug, right?
It's hard to figure based on their past records. You had De La Rosa starting for Colorado with that incredible record at Coors Field of 20-3.
And it happens to the best teams.
And Odrisa Despagne, his road record as a Padre, 1-6 with a 5.31 ERA. Now, you look at that and you say, gee, I'd like to wager a little libation with you. I think, well, how should I go tonight? Will Nieves is on deck.
That's a shocker. Will Myers was talking to the manager, Bud Black, before going out there.
He wants to stay in the game. Don't pinch hit for me. Myers with 2 hits. Norris with 3. Kemp with 3. Upton with 1. Venable a home run. Middlebrooks with a 2-run triple. Jerko with a hit, a double RBI. Alonso with 2 hits. Barmas with 2. Despagne with 1. One and 2 to Barmas. Nieves will hit for Garces. Two and 2. Well, let's hope the Padres save some runs. Like to package about 10 of those for tomorrow night for Brandon Morrow.
Yeah.
Or spread them out through the other 3 games of this trip to Colorado. Be tough to score. Tyler Matzik, he's a good one. Left-hander. High fly ball, center field. Easy play for Stubbs. 1 away. Matzik from just north of San Diego, up in Mission Viejo. And Morrow has been just outstanding. It doesn't have a win yet, but 2 solid outings for Brandon.
Yeah, he's been lights out. All of his pitches working for him. Putting hitters away with the off-speed stuff.
14 innings. Only 2 runs allowed and 11 hits for Morrow. So join us tomorrow, 5 o'clock here on Fox Sports San Diego for Padres Live, the pregame show. There's Brandon. Working hard on his crossword puzzle in the clubhouse before the game tonight.
Did you help him out a little bit? I know you're
Well,
big
I
on the
asked him.
crosswords.
I got stuck on the New York Times today. I said, "Yeah, give me a 3-letter word for feline. I'm really stuck here. That one across. I got to get that, or I'm dead."
You could spot me, the C and the T, and I still wouldn't get it.
Okay, here's Nieves. He checks his swing. 1-1. Nieves with that big grand slam homer to win a game for the Padres back at Petco. He's 1 for 6, but that one is a big one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. See that scorecard of Bud Black. A lot of wipeouts and changes in this game on both sides. With a lopsided score, each manager trying to get as many players into the game as he can. He chases and goes. Strikeout Nieves, 2 away. And here's Myers batting for the 6th time tonight. Padres hit around in the first inning and sent 8 men to the plate in the second inning. Myers has scored 3, knocked in 1, 2 for 5. Cashner and Ross saying, "You suppose they might be able to get a few of those runs for us when we take the hill?"
Tell you what, you look at Andrew Cashner, it's a cool night. I got Chris Kringle. He's got the rosy cheeks working. I could see him coming down a chimney, putting a tricycle underneath a tree, giving gifts to everybody. Hey, Vixen. Hey, Comet. Hey, Cupid.
Is that what you're going to ask Santa for, a tricycle?
No, you know what I'm asking for this year?
What do you want?
A no-hitter for this son.
Now I'll ask for a Padre to hit for the cycle.
There you go. And maybe Chris Kringle there can get that no-hitter. You got to love Cash, don't you?
Yeah. Myers takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Will raising his average up to 288 with his brace of hits tonight. Strike 3 swinging. Well, the Padres slowing down as the game has progressed. They got plenty through 5, 14.
Merry Christmas.
By Petco, what we feed them matters. And by your San Diego Lexus dealer. Quite a night for the San Diego Padre offense here at Coors Field against the Rockies. 14 runs and 17 hits. All the scoring coming in the first 5 innings. And lefty Chris Rierig makes his 3rd appearance of the season.
Oh, like Frank Garces. Frank went an inning in the 3rd. Now it's time for Chris Rierig to get a clean inning of work with the big lead, 12-run lead.
So he gives up 1 run and 1 hit in 2/3 of an inning. So that explains the high ERA, which totally skewed by just 1 run and a brief appearance. He'll face Nick Hundley, Rafael Yanoa, and Daniel Descalzo in the bottom of the 9th, the bottom of the order. Nieves stays in the game at first base for Alonso. So Norris, the workhorse behind the plate, not giving the 9th inning off. The 2 catchers have to go the full distance. Up the middle and into center field. Second hit for Nick Hundley. He's 2 for 3 with a walk. Yanoa grounded out, singled in one of the 2 runs back in the 4th inning for the Rockies and grounded to short a second time. Turns it around, hits right-handed for this occasion after the first 3 at-bats from the left side. This could be 2. Jerko touches the bag for 1. Back to first, a double play. Made to order. 4-3 double play, and the Rockies are down to their final out.
Hey, be sure to stay tuned after this one. Padres Live, the postgame show. Mike Pomerantz, Mark Sweeney breaking this one down, talking about what's going on in Major League Baseball. Also after Padres Live, which is going to be a great show. They're going to preview. It's not tomorrow night. They're going to preview SD Live, the Chargers situation, all that stuff. I'll get it right.
That's where Mark Fabiani, of the attorney for Dean Spanos and the San Diego Chargers, will give the latest news on what the situation is, what's brewing here. You hear more and more about Carson and Inglewood as a future home of the Chargers. Heaven forbid. Let's put a barbed wire up there at San Clemente, out at Camp Pendleton, not let them leave town.
So you got to stay tuned. Don't touch that remote after this one here. Mike Pomerantz, Mark Sweeney.
Descalzo batting for the second time. He singled to right field back in the 7th inning. 2-1.
Yes, he did. Oh, he called it on the pitch. Got a call right there.
2-2. Padres about to make it 3-1 on this road trip and boost their record to 9-5. They started tonight with the 2nd best batting average as a team in the National League, tied with Colorado at 271. Oh no, the 2nd best all alone after this big performance. 17 hits tonight. The rabid fans who refuse to go until the final out cheer a walk that extends this 9th inning. Brings up Charlie Blackmon, 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. Ball 1. Breaking ball that didn't. Tough night for the skipper of the Rockies. Nothing went well except he got to use all of his players. And Rierig, after walking Descalzo, not close to Blackmon, and Norris giving him a little encouragement and lesson, saying, hey, lefty, we want to go home now.
Yeah, be aggressive. Come right after these guys, right? Try not to be too fine.
Yeah, look out there. You got a guy at third, a guy at short, someone at second, one at first, 3 outfielders out there. They all have gloves on.
Yeah.
Make him hit his way on. Even Waldo staying to the end, huh? Little did he know. High fly ball deep to right field. That's way up in the air. Long run for Spangenberg, and he can't make the play. Running all the way and scoring is Descalzo, and on to third, Blackman with a triple. It's 14-3. Spangenberg firsthand realizing how tough it is to play the outfield at Coors Field.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of outfielders do the drifting, right? Going back, rather than, because the ball's going to travel. It's going to travel that little extra, right? And Corey was kind of drifting. Yeah, and then all of a sudden gave up on it there and felt the wall.
Yeah, he knew he was going to hit the wall, so shied away a little bit. So the Rockies get a run with 2 outs in the 9th inning. It's 14-3, and here's Drew Stubbs with Blackman at third. 0 for 2 since entering the game, replacing Corey Dickerson. He's struck out and popped to second. That's a strike. So the Rockies have their first extra base hit tonight. Padres with a half a dozen, including a home run. Over but low, 2-1. That's her second extra base hit. Rosario had one in the last inning, a double. The ground ball to third. Solarte across, and the game comes to an end. And what a game it has been. Padres 14, Colorado 3, the final score. Let's go to Mike Pomerantz.